everybody, welcome back here on TV 15. Bill Huddleston along with the coach of the Ruffers, Rafe Watkins, and no doubt a happier ride home for you once you got back to town than what it was the preceding week. But what a showing last Friday night at McAlester, a big 54-0 shutout.
Kids played really well. I was very, very proud of the way they responded from the tough loss at Midwest City. We come back in that game and showed some fight, but it was a tough week of practice. We knew we were better than that, and again, Midwest City was a great football team. But fortunately, we went into McAlester and played pretty much, mistake-free football and no turnovers. We got one turnover from them. I guess the one negative would be in the touchdown that was called back, the punt return, which if that had been last year, it would have been fine. There's the new rule in high school football that you cannot lead with the shoulder or anything. It was a peel back block, perfect. And again, for the last 30 years, it would have been great and it would have been touchdown. But now you have to lead with your hands instead of leading with the shoulder, and we led with the shoulder. And you're seeing that a lot throughout the high school stuff this year. It's going to take them a while to get used to using their hands instead of their shoulders. But otherwise, it was a pretty mistake-free game.
Well, it was a big win for the Ruffers on the road. 54-0 was the final score. Now, it seemed to me, Coach, that the Ruffers were ready to go with a 7 o'clock kickoff, but it ended up being 7:30. But as we roll the highlights, the Ruffers were ready to go the first time they got their hands on the football. And
this first play of the game, last year we did the double pass from Cherry to Mays. This year we went ahead and put him in the tailback and did a little bit more of a halfback pass. And then come in, Christian had 2 touchdowns on the night, short yardage touchdowns. Jacob scrambling around here did a great job. I think that's Mathis Givens. He catches a touchdown a little bit later in the game. Here's Christian with another score. Again, the offense, we were better. A lot of it was, and here's, I think, maybe our punt return that's for the touchdown. And you'll see here, right there, there was the block right there. So he gave that, and that was it. He was in front. It's a good block, but he led with his shoulder instead of his hands, so that was naturally coming back. But last year that would have been a good block, not this year. But fortunately, I guess it just pads these two totals. Speedy ended up with 4 catches, 3 touchdowns, 292 yards, had 1 dropper. He'd have been over 300 yards and 4 touchdowns.
And as Chris Berman says, he did go all the way.
Yeah, he went all the way a lot of times. They didn't have, he's going to outrun most people that we play. Midwest City has guys that can catch him. Booker Teal has some guys that can catch him, but pretty much everybody else we play will have a hard time running with him. Here's Devin Hillman with a good catch. I think Devin ended up with about 65 yards receiving on a night on 3 catches. Jacob was, I believe we ended up 15 of 18 or 16 of 19. He had 3 incompletions for 481 yards and 4 touchdowns. Good to see.
Yards after catch. But
DJ's getting, DJ is starting. He's had a leg injury, and not a lot of people's talked about it, but his growing's getting a lot better, and he's going to become a threat for us as well. Q coming in here on 3rd down on a power package and going in. Here's the start of the second half. Mathis makes a great stiff arm and run here, but Speedy, we talk about his catching, but this block right here, he stays with his guy all the way down there and keeps him from getting to Mathis. Did a great job. In 3 of these touchdowns that they throw here, this was a check. It's just because McAlester kept leaving the middle of the field open, and we got an automatic check there. If they want to let him have the middle of it, we're going to check to it every time and throw. It's just one of those simple audibles. Q in and out quarterback, he's just so dangerous and big running it. He covers a lot more area than what you realize. His feet's not turning over real fast, but he got them long old legs and strides. Patrick Walker getting in here and getting some good yards. I was really proud of our young running backs coming in. Patrick, he had a good night, and then of course here goes Jimmy Coleman. Jimmy had I think 7 carries for 75 yards on the night. This being the big one was 66 yards.
Yeah, talk about some speed, Coach.
But he's going to be a good one. Jimmy's just a sophomore. He's got to learn how to practice harder during the week, but he's going to get a lot more looks this week, and I think has a chance to be a pretty good tailback for us.
Final extra point to make it 54-0. That type of a offensive explosion, I think, is what you were expecting. But the Ruffer defense went in and did their job. And a guy that knows a little bit about the defense, he's going to come on our set here and talk to me a little bit about his enthusiasm with Ruffer football, and we may even tease him with a little musical ability. Jason Sexton, defensive coordinator, will be with us when we come back here on Ruffer TV. Welcome back on TV 15. Bill Huddleston here with the defensive coordinator of the Muskogee Ruffers, Jason Sexton. Jason, what a showing last Friday night by the Rufford defensive squad. I mean, you guys just went out and pretty much at will controlled the line of scrimmage, shut down the running game, and defended the pass and put a goose egg up on the board.
Well, I thought, from week 1 to week 2, we made some good adjustments as far as, being able to tackle better and probably some of those pregame jitters that you have going into a big week 1 matchup with Midwest City were probably gone, especially for some of those sophomores that are playing. So it was good to go out there and get a win, and anytime you can get a shutout, it feels especially good.
Talk to me a little bit about your idea or your ideology with the defensive scheme. It's a little bit different than what Ruffer fans have seen the last couple of seasons, but I think they like the result they saw last Friday night.
Well, there's a lot of the same concepts go into playing good football, which is you got to be sound in your coverage concepts and you got to be able to tackle and we're probably a little bit more aggressive with our blitzing package than it's been maybe the past year or two. So the idea of the scheme is to bring the fight to them, to not sit back and let someone dictate what we're going to do by formation or their scheme, but really get after them. And with the kids that we have at Muskogee, we've got extremely violent kids as far as in a good manner defensively, and we want to let them use their violence and their aggression to go make plays.
Well, they certainly did that last Friday night, just totally stymieing McAllister's run game, and then, of course, forced the issue into a kind of a single part of the game where they had to throw the football, and you knew it was coming. It's nice to have those big guys up front, led by Big Mike Edwards, and then have a linebacker that's got 3 years' experience with Carrington Ashley, and that defensive backfield is starting to develop too.
Well, up front, I think we're probably as good as anybody. With Michael Buchanan and Big Mike Edwards and his brother Colton and Nakari Ruffin and those guys, Davion Williams. I think we've got the ability to come in and have a chance to stop the run in most every game we play. So blessed to kind of walk into some guys like that are extremely talented and know the game, and Coach Platter does a great job with those guys getting the finer points of defensive line play put into their head for the week. And we know that each week we're going to have a chance to stop the run if we do the things that we've been coached to do, and they've done that to this point. And if you can make a team one-dimensional, then you got a really good chance to have a good defense.
Defensive coordinator Jason Sexton is our guest. Now, Coach, a couple of weeks ago in an interview, I asked you, when the Ruffers post a shutout, are you willing to sing a song? Are you willing to display your musical talents? And I asked you about the school fight song, and I think your first offer was, I'll sing any song, including Mary Had a Little Lamb.
I could do some Mary Had a Little Lamb. I don't have the fight song down just yet. I mean, we could pull in some of these guys, some of your workers here, some of the football players, and they could get down with me. And I'd be
really
okay with that.
Perfect setup. That's really a perfect setup. So let's bring up our musical group here for the week. And we've gone out to the locker room and we pulled in what we're going to put together as we bring them up here. John Smith, Jacob Madrano, and Justin Jones joining Jason Sexton. It's called Jason. Let's just call it the 4 J's. Okay?
These are kind of the lead singers. I'm going to join in with them as they create beautiful medley.
Well, we're going to expect to hear your vocal talents here really quick, Coach.
It's going to be in there somewhere.
If you'll look right into that monitor there, you'll be able to sing the song and see the words there. It'll scroll as we play it, but we're just about ready to roll, I think, on that. So if you can hit the music. Throw that ball and catch the first down, touchdown, sure are fine. Fine.
On Muskogee, fight for Ruffer fame. Fight, Ruffer, fight to win this game. Hey!
Yeah, all right. Finally, at the end,
There it
Big John
is.
comes through. But hey, it's nice to have backups like this, Coach, to come in and rescue the coach. But it's the players that make the game happen.
I was going to say they've had my back since day one, so today's no different.
Exactly. Just trying to have a little fun here this morning. Jason Sexton, defensive coordinator, always making things happen on a positive way and getting the team buy-in, which is what it's all about as far as the coach is concerned. When we come back, Coach Watkins will get back in here with me. We'll get back to the serious part of Ruffer football, talking about the off-week preparations and then looking ahead to Bentonville West. That after this timeout on Ruffer TV. Bill Huddleston back with the coach of the Ruffers, Rafe Watkins. Coach, last year you were kind of wanting to keep playing. This year maybe because of the physicality of the first game and even last week against McAlester, this off week comes at a good time.
You know, it does, and like you said, last year I didn't like it very well because we were really, we were hot right now and we wanted to keep playing. This year it comes at a good time because we still have so much to work on ourselves offensively and defensively. Our offensive line, we're still not through changing some things around it. In fact, today we sit down after practice yesterday and we're going to change a few things up, some keeping the same personnel but just putting them in some different spots that we think may help us with some speed and size factors at certain spots. And then defensively, secondary, we've still got work to do there because, in 2 weeks we play a pass-happy Bentonville West team, and they've been throwing for 300 and 400 yards against Pryor, and they'll do it again this week against Little Rock Central. So we've got our work cut out for us, but this week we're really going to work on healing up. We got a few little nagging injuries. We got a rib here. We've got an ankle. Still has Devin Harris's foot, and I don't know if he'll quite be ready for this week. We're looking at maybe he'll be ready for the start of districts with Bartlesville. So that's the main thing, is getting healed up and getting better at what we do right now.
Well, it should be a good time for the Ruffers to take a deep breath. Hey, these cooler temperatures are kind of nice too for practice.
Not too bad. It's been a wonderful fall so far. The August, getting through it without any 100-degree days, it's been pretty nice. So when we have a 90-degree day like we did on Monday, kids were thinking it was hot. I thought it was hot myself, but we were pretty blessed.
Indeed it was. And blessed were the Ruffers last Friday night with a 54-0 win over McAlester to improve their record to 1-1. Like Coach said, got an off week this week and then back to action on the 15th against Bentonville West. That game will be at Muskogee Creek Nation Field, Indian Bowl. It'll be a little rougher night, and we'll expect to see you there with us when we bring you all the action on Ruffer TV. For head coach Rafe Watkins, I'm Bill Huddleston for now saying it's always a great day to be a Ruffer.